Allow your eyes to rest on something that is comforting. And with the comforting sight, allow that comfort to soothe you, to fill you, to nourish you. And when you feel a little bit of nourishment entering in and filling you up, then I invite you to close your eyes and allow your attention to turn towards the weight of your body. Just feel your weight. And your connection with the chair or the cushion underneath you. Notice that there's the ground underneath the cushion that's holding and supporting you. And gently bring your attention just to the top of your head. And at the top of your head, make an invitation for anything that's tight or tense to relax. And moving down your forehead, if you have any furrows in your brow, to invite them to relax. So an invitation is not a demand. It's a whisper. It's an opening. It's a request. And then allowing your attention to come to your eyes. Right now, I notice a little bit of tingling in my eyes because I've just been outside doing a little errand back and forth up the stairs. We can just allow our eyes to rest. We can allow our gaze to shift from being focused outward to gently focusing inward. Bringing attention to the jaw. Notice the chewing muscles, and gently inviting them to relax. And bringing attention to the top of the chest, noticing what you feel there, and inviting it to relax. In the middle of the torso, softening, inviting relaxation. And the whole lower torso, inviting, softening and opening and relaxation. Now again moving to the top of the head, and now scanning the back of the head, scalp, and the base of the skull. And gently inviting, softening, easing, opening, relaxing. Moving to the shoulders, and inviting them to relax. moving down the back, middle back, and the lower back, inviting it to relax. And now bringing attention to the legs, feeling the legs and the feet, inviting them to relax. Feeling the arms and the hands and inviting them to relax. So just taking a moment to feel our body and make a deliberate intention, invitation to soften, to open, to relax, to rest. And as we look and see what's there, we may notice that there's parts of our body that are harder to relax than others. There's parts that still may feel tight or tense. We don't need to push against that or ask it to be different. Now gently shifting attention to your breath. In whatever way you experience your breath. At the tip of the nose, the air moving down the windpipe, movement of the belly. And without any need to change your breath or control your breath, just allow your breath to come and go. The miracle of an in-breath is a gift of life. The power of the out-breath is it is a support to let go, to release, and to relax. And so for these next minutes together, just staying with the breath, allowing yourself to be nourished by the in-breath and relax and release with the out-breath. just one breath at a time. And if you notice that you start to think about things or plan, just notice those thoughts. Gently shift your focus of attention to the breath. Just stay with the nourishing in-breath, soothing, relaxing, releasing out-breath. Just check where your attention is now. Gently and lovingly connect with the breath, if that's not where it already is. Soothing, nourishing in-breath, the gift of life, of a brand new in-breath, and the opportunity to relax and release and rest with the out-breath. letting the in-breath nourish you, fill you, allowing the out-breath to support you, relaxing and releasing and letting go. Gently bring your attention back to your body. Notice your weight. Feel the top of your head, your forehead, your eyes, your jaw, your chest. Feel the back of your head and the base of your skull, your shoulders, your back. Feel your legs all the way down to your feet and your arms all the way to your hands. Feel your whole body seated here, breathing, breathing in and out. Open your awareness to the sounds of your breathing, to the sounds that are in the room, to the sounds that are outside of the room. Very slowly open your eyes and look around the room. Allow your attention to rest on something that's comforting. And let that comfort fill you, nourish you. And as we switch gears and I'm about to speak and tell a story, just allow your attention to stay with the feelings in your body, to stay with your breath, and to know that you can shift your focus to the things around the room, to the things that are comforting, whenever you want to. So switching gears and telling a little story. Many years ago, I went to Australia. I went to Wat Budadama outside of Sydney. And I was living in a little hut that was about 5 feet wide, 7 feet long. And I was in that hut for nearly 2 years. And outside my hut was like the most magnificent walking meditation path that I have ever seen. It was like 70 feet long and 4 feet wide and perfectly level, and it had a strong base, but it had soft, silky sand on top. So it was really comfortable to walk on barefoot. And everywhere I looked on that path, the only structure I could see was my little hut. Everything else was bush. There was the Angoffer trees, and there was the wattle, there were rocks. And I loved that walking meditation path. I used to use it all the time. I would go out in the morning, I would go out in the day, I would go out in the evening, I would go out at night. And I felt totally comfortable on that path. It was just a super safe place for me to be. So away from my path was another path, and that led down to the library and then to the meditation hall. And not long after I got to Wat Budadama, I decided to do a tiger practice, which is part of the Korean Zen tradition of not lying down and not intentionally sleeping. And so for a week, I stayed up, I didn't lie down, and I was in the meditation hall for all the time. I didn't come back to my little hut. And because I was up at all kinds of strange hours, I was looking outside the meditation hall at all the different things that were there. And one of the things that was there was an anthill. And the anthill had been built so that it was on the walking path up to the meditation hall. And I was born in Los Angeles. And even though I have a very deep love of nature, I was born in a city and I didn't grow up with anthills. So I had a thought that you would only have if you were born in the city and you hadn't grown up with anthills. I had the idea that I would take a broom and gently brush the base of the anthill and encourage the ants to relocate gently. So I took the big broom that we use to sweep the outside of the meditation hall, the paths on the outside of the meditation hall, and I started gently brushing the base of the anthill. And maybe it is completely not any surprise to you, but within half a second, there was this immediate alarm that went through the whole anthill, and there was a search and destroy mission that the ants were set upon. So the ants came pouring out of the anthill and charged me. And I recognized the error of my ways, that what I had done was actually maybe not very kind or very thoughtful, and that actually might in fact be exactly the right place for that anthill. And I went and I put my broom back against the meditation hall, which was like 7 feet away. And I thought, well, that wasn't very smart. I'll just go back and I'll give them some loving kindness and help it all settle down, which is another thing somebody living in the city would think. So I went and put the broom against the meditation hall, which was 7 feet one way and 7 feet the other way, and walked back in with another intention. I walked back into a charging anthill with another intention. And to my complete amazement, because I didn't realize what an unbelievably stupid thing I was doing was, until not a single ant bit me. Not one. So I walked back into the anthill with a different intention and a different motivation. And there wasn't a single ant, not one, that bit me. And then I realized, what just happened here? This is mind-boggling. The ants actually can tell the difference between harming and non-harming. So that had a huge impact on me, huge. I mean, I realized what a remarkably naive thing that I had done on both instances, to think that I could shift an anthill, and then to think that I could walk into an anthill with metta and not actually be impacted. Both were equally naive. And then completely flabbergasted to actually recognize that the ants could tell the difference. So a few weeks later, I was walking on my meditation path, and on the path that connected my path to the library was a bull's ant's nest. Now, Australia has like 10,000 different kinds of ants, okay? There's sweet ants, and there's honey ants, and there's red ants, and there's fire ants, and there's big ants, and there's minuscule ants. And they all have different personalities. They all have different characteristics. But bull ants are like, everybody knows about bull ants, and you know about bull ants really quickly, really, really quickly. Because bull ants are like 1 to 1.5 inches long, and they've got these pitchforks in front of them, which have venom in them. And if you get bit by a bull ant, it's like 2 weeks of incredibly intense feeling. The first week is like pain levels that are on the high end of the Richter scale. And then the second week is itch, that's on the high end of the Richter scale. And there's nothing that makes it go away. So everybody learns about bull ants like really, really quickly. And the thing about bull ants is they're incredibly territorial. So that when I was walking on the path to the library, there was a bull ant's nest that was just a few feet off of the path, and they would be on forays and dragging bugs back to their hill and all the rest of that. And I had my eyes glued. Watch out for the bull ants. And I would step around them and I would step over them, and I was incredibly careful, extremely careful. Watch out for the bull ants and don't mess with them, because it didn't matter how tall I was, they would bite me. But on my path, which was like 15 feet away, maybe more, maybe 20 feet away, I felt completely comfortable walking back and forth on my path morning, noon, and night with my eyes open, with my eyes closed, without any light in the night. And there were bull ants that used to come and make forays on my walking path regularly. But what was astonishing to me was that they knew it was my path. And when they were on my path, they would get out of my way. I didn't have to worry if I was walking backwards, or if I was walking with my eyes closed, or if I was walking at a time when the light was poor, because I knew they would just get out of my way. So this was the second thing about the ants that just completely blew me away. Because I had always lived with the assumption that respect was something that you gave when somebody deserved it. And what the ants showed me was that it's possible to live with respect just because that is a noble and good way to live. These are ants. So what I wanted to do was to open up the inquiry of what does it take for us to feel respect? When do we feel respect? When do we give respect? What happens when we receive the experience of respect? What happens if we don't? What does it feel like when we feel disrespected? Can we give respect when we have been disrespected? And so what I'd like to do is open up the chat rooms. And if anyone is interested to be in the chat rooms, to stay on the call, I will put you in a chat room, and then you will have a few minutes in a monologue to just share from your own experience your thoughts and feelings about respect. And you can take it in turns. There's going to be no, with the person who's speaking is speaking, everybody else is listening. And then at the end, we will come back here into the main group and share or discuss something that came up for you. So there's a few people who need to leave, and this is perfect. Just if you need to leave, to please go ahead. And if there are some who want to stay and do inquiry for a few minutes, then please stay on. There'll be a few minutes each for each person to speak, and then we'll come back to the main group and share if we have any thoughts or impact of how this has gone. Okay? So let's just wait until everyone else who has to go has gone, and then I'll put you in breakout rooms. And so I will put you in breakout rooms. And you will have what time is it? You'll have 10 minutes between all of you to speak, one person at a time, and then we'll come back to the main room and have a brief discussion about the impact of that, and then closing. Okay? I'm creating the breakout rooms now. Susan, you have to click. Are you not in a room? Susan, you look like you're frozen. There you go.